Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So happy hump day, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. Hope you guys are all having a good week so far. I'm Dan from Trading with Dan. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So we shall go straight over to those Bitcoin 4-hour charts. So yeah, as you can see, we are once again testing the downside of this support zone that we've got drawn in. Let me just change this. Just level that up a little bit. It's just a box, we're not changing the level. There we go. Just testing the downside of this support zone. Obviously, the more times we test it, the not so good it looks. And yeah, as you can see, I mean, we've not taken out any of these lows yet, so we have got in this very short term a high-low structure and somewhat of a trend line. But yeah, I mean, you pretty much would guess if we do close some candles below below any of these levels, or even below the actual level, which we're very close to now, although we do have a good 3.5 hours of this 4-hour candle, then yeah, I mean, realistically we've got to be targeting this 55k for an initial point of interest, and then we'll just have to see what happens at that point. Obviously, if it drags out a little bit, we could have a very nice coincidence confluence, that's the one. We could have some very nice confluence between this horizontal and this trend line. So obviously if it comes in around what is that, the 12th of April, the 12th of April, so yeah, literally next week. So yeah, if we take all week, and obviously we know Bitcoin doesn't take that long to move this far, so maybe that's not that point of interest. Maybe we do come down to 55, maybe we do bounce back up, test the underside, and then come down and test the trend line somewhere and then bounce off. That would obviously be an ideal scenario, because then obviously by bouncing off, this implicating we then go onwards and upwards, which is what we all want to see. But yeah, obviously we are currently downside angled at the moment. Yeah, so I did see an errant tweet this morning about obviously the Mt. Gox Bitcoin, that when people get that, I mean, they're clearly going to sell that. There is no universe in which the people that get any of their Mt. Gox Bitcoin, which they had for like a few dollars a Bitcoin, are not going to be selling. So yeah, obviously we've got that to watch out for. I mean, I haven't looked into that too much about when that is going to get released. But also we do know there are institutions, in inverted commas, people looking to buy large amounts of Bitcoin. So maybe some of that can get done OTC. And not basically destroy the market. All I will say is that that's obviously Bitcoin. So you would maybe hope, if we go over to our Ethereum Bitcoin chart, they're not getting a load of Ethereum to sell, they're getting a load of Bitcoin to sell. So obviously that Bitcoin getting sold, whilst obviously will probably drag down the whole crypto market. I mean, the actual physical selling of the coins is not going to be Ethereum, it's going to be Bitcoin. So maybe that is another catalyst for Ethereum to outperform. I haven't actually seen necessarily anything with the uncertainty with the upgrades and the miners being resolved as of yet. So maybe this move is just reflecting the fact that it's obviously going to be Bitcoin that can potentially get hit. So we are seeing the move up against Bitcoin. Maybe if it's always if buts and maybes in the market. That's the thing about trading and markets. You can be right, but right for the wrong reasons. You can be wrong, but you had the right reasons, but the market didn't do what you think it did, and you just never really know. You could put on a trade you're certain of, and you get it right, but actually it was only a small chance that you were going to be right. You could put on a trade that you think is very unlikely, but then you're right. But it was actually a large. It wasn't unlikely as you assess the probabilities. So that's the thing about trading. You have to basically assess your own probabilities, and then you are subject to being right or wrong, and then also never knowing whether you're right or wrong and what the actual probabilities were. You only know the outcome. So there you go. Anyway, so over to Ethereum Bitcoin. As you can see, we are still trading, basically trading within this smaller range at the top here. Starting to potentially look like a bit of an ascending channel. We'll just extend this level on. This is obviously this high here, probably a level of importance. But yeah, I mean, we could draw a draw a diagonal. I mean, actually, what we'll do, rather than convolute this chart now, we'll just borrow these. So there we go. There is the underside, and we'll borrow this this guy. And yeah, so you can see we've got a bit of a an ascending channel. Obviously, these are potentially bearish formations. But obviously, well, you can get these can be bull flags. Obviously, if the market is quite bullish, the bull flag cannot basically droop to the downside. It can droop, not that's the right word, but you know what I mean, to the upside. But nonetheless, we are testing this trend line. We then got this horizontal. I mean, I would suggest if we lose this trend line and lose this horizontal, then we will be well, the next catch point. Realistically, we do have some confluence here. But would be our major level. We will actually draw that confluence. We'll actually draw this horizontal on here because it does look relatively important, and it would give us a chance to bounce without having to come all the way down to here. But yeah, again, we've got this main zone that we were aiming to get through to go full bullish. But will the market move up and move up in one pretty much straight move? Maybe not. Maybe we are going to take some time to consolidate, even at the very least sideways here. A USD pairing though, as you can see, back testing that breakout zone. USD pairing, not looking. Well, it is knocking on the door of downside. Obviously, currently not looking too bad like a bull flag, but clearly we can see if we lose this trend line and this horizontal, then we could certainly be coming down to test lower. But obviously, this will just depend on what Bitcoin does, and we've seen that Bitcoin is downside angled also. The dollar index DXY, as you can see, we're talking about this potentially. Working on putting on a new medium-term high here, relative to obviously the lower highs that we've had, as you can just see coming along here. So that would be very nice to see, because this is not going to be a bad catalyst for markets, the dollar coming down. So yeah, we've got these horizontals. I mean, I think this for me is the main one. Is down here for then basically for us to we will be coming lower. But yeah, as you can see, we are having a good job at trying to break this down. So yeah, look, this is starting to look like we've got a very good chance, a more than 50% chance of this being the local high, and we're coming down to potentially test lower. Just have a quick look at what we did right down here. I mean, this just shows you how much Bitcoin can move, and even against basically your expectations. I mean, we were looking at this move down to here to give us basically 30k, 20k plus Bitcoin, maybe even 30k. So obviously Bitcoin was a lot lower at that point. And yeah, just look at it. I mean, we've got the dollar now all the way up here, and Bitcoin basically at 60k, which is double the maybe even 30k when we're not even down here. So this is one thing that I always say about Bitcoin and crypto, is that it will pretty much always do more than you expect, both to the upside and the downside. And I am fully aware of this, and I wrote these drew these targets on fully aware of this, and it still managed to outdo me. So you guys might have heard me brandishing around figures of 8k Ethereum end of year, and you might be thinking that's ridiculous. I mean, to be honest, when we're struggling to get back over 20k Bitcoin, I did think within like basically a few months, maybe even the rest half of this year, that 60k would just be basically impossible. Like, obviously I don't like to use finite such as impossible, but yeah, I just thought, no, we're not going to see that. And then here we are, basically nearly 60k at the moment, obviously been above 60k. So yeah, this market will do a lot more in both directions than you would expect. So yeah, just be aware of that when you guys try and consider what 8k Ethereum end of year, basically how likely you do or don't think that is, and also think about, not that I talk about this too much, but think what that might do to the price of Wise, which we know is basically it does move with Ethereum, and we also know does have some catalysts of its own to maybe then move more than Ethereum, which it obviously hasn't been doing for a long time, since, well, I say a long time in crypto, but yeah. That could be in for some absolute epic pumps. So, but obviously mainly based on Ethereum. well, not mainly, but a lot of it based on Ethereum, and then like basically if Ethereum can do like say 3x from where it is, sorry, 4x from where it is now, to 8k, that is going to then do wonders for the price of Wise. And if Ethereum Wise independently can do like, even if it's just like a 50% higher compared to Ethereum than it is now, they will be some epic gains. They would be some epic gains. That would basically be a 6x from where we are now. A 4x plus basically a 2x would be a 6x. So there you go. Let's have a look at stock market's looking good. Obviously, the dollar is clearly going to be helping the stock market. I mean, this is just so beautifully textbook. Descending, broadening wedge, breakout, back test. Sort of swing failure above the recent highs as well to basically FOMO some longs in, smash them back down, back test pretty much the breakout, not the breakout level, but the trend line, and then onwards and onwards and upwards. So that is as textbook as you like. And I mean, where have I got these fibs drawn in from? Yeah, we can see these fibs that we've got drawn in from basically the March lows. We are obviously gunning for the one spot 618. Obviously high to lows down here. That's where the fibs are drawn from. So yeah, I mean this is I mean you obviously know this target is going to get hit. It's just then a case of what happens after that, because the 2618 is pretty high. Anyway, 10-year sorry, not gold silver, 10-year backing off. 10-year backing off here as well. This is not going to be too far off, putting in basically it could be having a medium-term downtrend, contrary to what obviously everyone may think. But when everyone thinks it, that will no longer happen. But this is basically the level, really. Take out this level. I mean, this is the next level. Take out this level. Then yeah, I guess it's down to here. So we'll draw that in, because that will be the next level of of importance. And then clearly this is why I like horizontals. They're so simple. They don't mess about. There we go, and we'll just move this up a tad, yeah, around there. It's obviously a bit of a zone, this one, but yeah, as you can see, if we do start to have a pullback, we've got these levels to catch price action. Obviously below this level, I think we will see some medium-term downside, and it depends where we get caught. Where price gets caught and then starts to move back up again, or the yield, not the price. Obviously the price is going up as this comes down. Bitcoin dominance, yeah, I mean basically it's getting wrecked. I mean we did have a lot of sideways and consolidation within this level, and then yeah, we lost the lows, and then we came catapulting down. And as you guys know, we're on a daily here. I have obviously the target of this this downside trend line. In fact, maybe we could have seen it better when we had it on the daily, but yeah, here we go. We can see we've got the target of this downside trend line. Obviously, we've not got to rule out a back test of this breakdown level, which obviously would be severely damaging for alts if we do get a back test up to here. But we just have to obviously see what happens, because at the moment we're just in free fall at the moment, and no real indication that that's going to change. But yeah, this is my target. As I've said, this is my target, guys, and this is a pretty a juicy target. And then there's nothing to say we can't bounce off that and then break down through that. But we'll just obviously have to play that when we get there. What else do we want to look at? What else? Gold silver ratio. Yep, gold silver ratio. Looking like it is at a rejection point. So are we going to get rejected here? We've come back and obviously tested this level, having a bit of a battle here. But if we go over to silver, you can see silver is trying to make this a higher low relative to these lows, and trying to push on upwards, with gold also starting to try and well, take out this level, get into this zone, take out this zone, and we'll be looking good. I am actually looking at acquiring more physical gold this time. I have a lot of silver. Now it's time for the gold. As you can see, obviously gold becoming better value. has become better value with this whole move down. Better value than it was is what I'm going to say. I'm not saying the gold-silver ratio is not going to come down further, because I potentially believe it will, but it is just better value than it has been. So time to look into trying to acquire that cheap, not that it's cheap, but trying to acquire that physical with as minimum premiums as possible. Yeah, that's about it really. That is about all we really needed to look at on here. Let's look at those stochastics. I mean, they've got to be looking like not looking too good. I mean, yeah, 4 hour looks like it could be a drag on price action. 10 hour, letting this load up. Yeah, 10 hour did have a bounce from quite a deep level, but now looking a bit like it wants to turn back down. 12 hour still diving. Daily was the one that was obviously looking okay still, but now has turned back down. And 2 day looking to turn back down also. 3 day not looking so bad. Obviously higher time frames. 3 day not looking bad. I mean 5 day not even looking so bad. Up there still. Weekly not looking so bad. We'll look at bi-weekly, monthly for sake of completion. 2 weekly not looking too bad. Monthly not looking too bad. But this stochastic read is suggesting basically downside is more likely. Also, I will revert to what I say, just trading sideways within this range would obviously indicate downside, because we're pretty much at the top ends of this range. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, you guys can pretty much have guessed what I'm expecting here. I mean, it's easy to obviously invalidate anything. Getting back at above 58.5, we don't look so bad. Obviously, getting above 60k onwards and upwards, but that I don't think is the likely scenario. It's just a case of, I believe, how low do we go at the moment? 55k, and this trend line being basically been the optimal low for the bulls, potentially even down to 52k if we're trading out this overall range. Well, below 52k, well, below this level, we are then looking at basically down to here, mid 40ks, just as an actual wider range as well. And then if we would look at price action, we've basically got this wider range here, this high, this low, this mid. And we basically populated the upper level, and then we can potentially come and populate the lower range, but that's obviously if we lose 52k, which I'm not saying that I believe is going to happen. It's just level, but it's just a game of levels, isn't it? Basically, it is just horizontals. So yeah, that is it really, guys. Not too much else to report back this morning. So yeah, thank you for listening, guys. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys' week is going okay so far. Thank you for listening, and I shall remind you that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and I shall speak to you guys soon.